Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. Going to talk about a little scenario that might come across in the REPC from time to time. And that is, let's say, we'll just use earnest money, but this could be used, this could be true for multiple areas of the REPC. Basically, we're talking about a breach of contract. So let's say earnest money is not delivered by the prescribed deadline in the REPC. So buyer doesn't get it in on time. Is this a breach of contract? I believe so. It's a promise that goes unfulfilled in the contract. That's the technical definition of a breach of contract. So you got a breach. Well, or a default is what we might call it. So what do you do now? It doesn't say in that section what happens. If it's not, it just says, here's when it will be. Okay, it is not. Now what? Well, you can look at the default section, right? Section 16. 16.1 is buyer default. And it says, if buyer defaults, seller may elect one of the following remedies. Well, already we have a key word there, and that is the word may. In the legal world, the word may means you got a choice. So seller, you may, but do not have to elect one of these remedies. So could you just not elect a remedy? Yeah, it says you may. It doesn't say shall. That's the counterpart, right? That's the opposite in legal terms of may is shall. If it says seller shall elect one of these remedies, well, then seller has to elect one of these remedies. But here it says may. Well, what does that tell you? That tells you it's not automatic, right? Nothing past the may is automatic until the seller, that's not automatic. The seller has to elect one of these remedies. Cancel REPC, retain earnest money, enforce the return the earnest money and sue for other damages, maintain the earnest money, and entrust and sue the buyer for enforcement. So the lesson to be learned here is if seller wants to move on, or buyer, let's say it's a different section that's breached, but it's breached by the seller, then again, same thing, same language, and seller defaults. If seller defaults, buyer may elect one of the following remedies. So what we learn from that is action is needed by one of the parties, the non-defaulting party, and it's not automatically terminated, the contract, right? It's not canceled until the buyer or seller elects to cancel it. And then they're within their rights to do so because the default section says that's an option they have. So just to keep that in mind, it's not automatically canceled. I hear that from time to time that, well, it's voided. This contract is voided. I don't know why we use that term, but sometimes that's the term we used. Voided and voidable. Well, I guess if we're using those terms, the contract could be voidable, but it requires action by the non-defaulting party. Hopefully I haven't confused you all more with that explanation. But remember that it's not automatic. So if your party's the non-defaulting party, they still need to elect to cancel the contract if that's what they indeed want to do. Again, in previous videos I've said I would have them consult legal counsel before they elect their remedy, especially if it's a bigger deal. There's a large amount of earnest money, because once you do, you may have barred yourself from pursuing any other remedies. So it's a big deal to decide what to do after a default, and something that the parties should think about. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.